Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Where's the piss bottle? It's over there.
Alright people, some breaking news literally in the last hour. The Mirror, as well as several other websites, are actually reporting this. The Telegraph was the first news story I seen quoting, and this came from Gareth A. Davis. Now the Mirror, or not sorry, the Telegraph is one of them where you have to have an account and all to read it, but I have the Mirror here, and it states the following: Anthony Joshua ready to accept £15 million to allow Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. This also comes in a week where the Dylan White Tyson Fury purse bid has been pushed back again. Alright, I think that's the third time it's been pushed back now. And obviously there's an arbitration going on with that, so yeah, we'll see where that goes. But let's read this here. Anthony Joshua is reportedly close to accepting a big money step aside offer to pave the way for Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight title. AJ is set to accept a £15 million step aside fee. Read that already, it's literally repeating itself. AJ lost the heavyweight titles to Oleksandr Usyk last year whilst Fury defended. The pair will now look to face off for the undisputed heavyweight title, which is likely to take place in the Middle East or in Qatar's Principality Stadium, also which has been reserved for March the 26th. That's a very quick turnaround. In fact, I think I'm going to be frank, I think for a fight of this magnitude, that's too quick a provisional date, I reckon. It's probably going to be, if it does, April, May, as well as that. Well, Eddie Hearn wouldn't have any. I was going to say that's on the same day as Josh Warrington versus Kiko Martinez. I was going to say Eddie Hearn, but if it is Fury Usyk, well, Eddie Hearn's not promoting Usyk anymore. At least as far as I'm aware, unless he's got a deal with him for maybe a one fight deal. It could be against anyone, I don't know. But Joshua planned to activate the rematch clause, but the Telegraph are reporting that he is close to accepting this big money offer to put the fight on hold. I hope that doesn't have any sound. It does. I'll turn it down real quick. Just playing a video there of Eddie Hearn talking. A weekend of talks are said to have reportedly been delivered a breakthrough in a deal which would almost certainly see Joshua face the winner. Purse bids for Fury and his mandatory Dylan White have been delayed 3 times, as well as this week, but White is also set to receive an offer to step aside in the region of $5 million. So that would probably be more. So essentially, Dylan White would make more stepping aside than he would have. Don't think he's ever had a career high payday that much. Speaking this week, Frank Warren, one of Fury's promoters, said it's a saga, but if we can keep things between us, we can get something over the line one way or another. Everyone in boxing wants the undisputed, of course. Tyson Fury and Usyk, I want to see it just as a fan. So that is the fight we're trying to make. Whereas Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn recently said that whilst they are still working on the Usyk rematch, a considerable step aside fee would make them consider stepping aside. To quote Eddie Hearn here, we are still moving forward with Joshua Usyk too and Fury White, but there are still people who would like to see Fury Usyk for undisputed and willing to pay a lot of money for it. So this is what's being reported here. The rest is kind of stuff that we already know. But AJ did say in that interview with Cook and Cassius, which I think was back in just before Christmas, where he was in Dubai at an MTK show, or Probellum show I should say, I think it was Probellum anyway, that step aside, his team knew. Now this is where he contradicted himself. He said his team knew not to come near him with that offer, but he then in the next breath said if the offer was good enough, yet they'd consider it. So 15 million. Now, obviously, AJ has made more money than that in the past in fights, we know that, but for AJ, for his development, I think he needs to take this. It's not me saying this just as a fan who wants to see Undisputed. That's my priority. I do want to see Undisputed. Yes, I do. I'd love to see Undisputed Heavyweight Champion. I think Usyk versus Fury is a great fight. But for AJ, people were saying, some people were commenting on that WTF video I did saying, G-Man's a hate AJ, he's a hater. I'm not hating AJ. He's one of my favourite fighters to watch. But I want to see him bring out the best of himself. And I'm just going to be frank. Going into an immediate rematch with Usyk, the way he's been talking, not going to win. He's not going to win. Going into an immediate rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, getting a new trainer, and only having, at best, 3 months to work with him, you're not going to win. If AJ now has a new trainer, and he's able to take some learning fights with said new trainer, whoever it may be, Stacey McKinley potentially I think might be best, or James Ali Bashir, one of them two. Could be anyone, but let's just say it's Stacey McKinley. Having 2 fights with him, right, against, say, Robert Helenius, or just naming names, guys that, are a level below where AJ has been operating, guys who should win, but he can learn with his new trainer. He can get accustomed to the new style. He can get rid of some of the demons of the Ruiz loss, of the Usyk loss, and build himself as a fighter. That would help him no end. No end it would help him. It would be fantastic for his development as a fighter. For Dillian Whyte, he'll get a career high payday without having to do anything, but he wants his title shot. And here's the thing, right? I reckon if there is undisputed, those titles be vacated. It might actually bode well for Dillian Whyte, actually. Because, look, if you're undisputed, you're not going to be undisputed for long. Age is probably going to be the one who is going to face the winner, unless they have a rematch, in which case God knows what will happen. But Age is probably going to face the winner. Those titles will probably get stagnated at some stage. Maybe they'll chuck a WBC title away, in which case Dillian Whyte gets elevated to full champion. There you go, happy days, well done. You got your world title without even having to do anything. So, we'll watch the space. As a fan of boxing, I would love to see undisputed, but for AJ, I don't know AJ, but for him as a fighter, to bring himself along with a new trainer, I think this is the best thing for him if he does take it. I really, truly do. I think if he takes this step aside money, and he's got a new trainer who is works well with him, and he works well with that trainer, and he has some development fights, I think that could be the best thing that will happen to Anthony Joshua for his career long term. The best thing. The worst thing would be if he decides, I want to prove I've got big cojones, and I'm going to go in there with Oleksandr Usyk, and I'm going to try and put it on him, and I'm going to get knocked out before even round 6. That's not going to be good for him. Not be good for him at all. So I think that he should look. Again, this is just me speaking from the outside looking in. I'd love to see undisputed, yes, but for AJ, for his own development, I think that could work out very well for him. Sometimes you need to approach things from different. If you want to go for something like a bull in the china shop, if you want to go into battle full steam ahead and think that, look, I'm just going to go in full steam ahead without any consequences, it's not going to go well. There have been battles throughout history, because we use boxing, I'm going to use an analogy, we use boxing as a form of war, alright? Go back and look at some of the battles in history where people went in charged like a bull in the china shop, but didn't work for them. Alright, Richard III died in battle, charging to try and take out his opponent. Now, fair enough, he was betrayed at that battle, maybe it's a poor analogy, but he was betrayed at that battle and was subsequently killed. That's what happens. Go in like a bull in the china shop without thinking, I'm just going to go for it, and that's what happens. So I think AJ, take a step aside. Let's see, let's wait and see. For now, lads and lasses, I'll leave you with that. I'm going to record review of the week. This is going to go up now, review of the week tomorrow. For now, lads, and I wouldn't mind, but actually the thumbnail I have for review of the week is a thumbnail with AJ talking about Usyk going into the fight. So we'll discreetly ignore that, and maybe I'll see if I can get that changed, but who knows. For now, lads and lasses, I'll talk to you. Peace.